a difficulty in trying to figure out a chronological order of the verses and so on is involved in the point that the Qur'an also contains extremely scarce and very slight narrative historical information. And included in that is the odd fact that it contains nothing which is historically verifiable or falsifiable outside of the Qur'an. Now, if you say, well, I don't believe in miracles, and the Qur'an has Moses' staff turn into a serpent, and like the Bible and such things, okay, fine. That you can call, if you want, a counter-scientific indication or something. But if you're coming to look at it from the historical point of view, there isn't anything in it that is historically verifiable or falsifiable. That is because it is not a history book. It is extremely sparing of proper names. For example, there's only one woman's name in the Qur'an. But does that mean women are named infrequently or are mentioned infrequently? Not at all. They're mentioned very frequently. There must be over 20 women who are described in the Qur'an, but they aren't given names. And although more of the male prophets are given names, not all of them are. Sometimes it said then a prophet from that people came, and it's just left like that. Even a story which is palpably related to the biblical prophet Samuel, and so Samuel by that would be considered an Islamic prophet, but he's not named in the text. It just says that their prophet said, and that's it. The Quran is very sparing on names. Another point, unlike the Bible, is that there's no chronology. The Jewish calendar and its chronology, the Christian calendar of creation with Archbishop Usher saying the world was created in 4004 BC, etc., is elaborated out of the Bible, and all the necessary connections are made to have a continuous chronology. There are no chronologies in the Quran, none. There are mentions of years and numbers of years sometimes, that is true, but they are not put in any kind of chronological form where they seem to matter in that sense. Furthermore, there is no narrative history of the life of the Prophet Muhammad in the Quran. There are rarely verses that are sort of datable because of the extra Quranic biography of the Prophet that is in that blue book that you all have by Martin Lings. So, for example, the Surah Al-Fath, Surah 48, is generally associated with the Treaty of Hudaybiyah in the year 6. And because that treaty is mentioned, or rather the oath of allegiance to the Prophet is mentioned in the text of Surah 48, that is a very probable instance where the surah can be chronologically fit into the Prophet's life. But generally, if you had only the Quran to go on and we're going to make a life of the Prophet, that would be completely out of the question. It would hardly be able to do that at all. So this is something then about the overall nature of the text of the Quran. I should add, I suppose, that the Prophet dictated the Quran to scribes, perhaps especially in the Medinan period when he had more numerous followers, and so there could finally begin to be some specialization and so on. He dictated the Quran to scribes, and then it was written down from that time. It came to be written down as well as being an oral text, but the oral aspect of it is primary over the written aspect. The recited aspect of it, that prevails over the written aspect with no doubt. Now, do you have any questions?